Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing Halo 5 Guardians, showing you all 13 skull locations in the entire game from beginning to end. Doing all 13 will get you the Gravelord achievement, as well as unlock all the skulls in the main menu. The first one is I Would Have Been Your Daddy on Mission 1, Osiris. Before entering through the large door where the elevator is, you'll want to jump up onto this kind of cliff on the side. You can use the small little cover in order to get the extra height, or you can just crouch jump and mantle up onto here. Pick it up. If this is your first skull, you'll also unlock the Gravedigger achievement. Your second skull can be found on Mission 2 Blue Team, and it's going to be the Black Eye Skull. Once you reach the reactor room, you're going to want to drop down and go to the left, up the small kind of ramp staircase, and make your way to the kind of armory cache where you can pick up some weapons. That's a good reference point. You'll want to jump up onto there and then jump onto the large pipe that lines the room on the left side. Follow the pipe all the way to the end and jump across the gap where it says keep clear. In that area, you'll want to ground pound through the metal grate that is on the floor. As soon as you do that, you'll end up in a red lit room. Inside that room, you should be able to find the skull sitting on top of a small kind of bench or a little post. Now, the Iron Skull can be found on Mission 3 Glass. This is easily the hardest one to get, and you must be playing on Legendary. I recommend doing this with a co-op partner to make your life easier. You'll get in the tank, and you'll need to use the Scorpion, and you'll have to successfully kill the Phaeton that's chasing the cargo ship as soon as you go through the archway at the top of the hill. You'll notice this should seem all familiar. If you look off into the sky, you'll see a large cargo ship, and there's going to be a Phaeton that chases it. You have to shoot down the Phaeton. You can do this using the Scorpion's main gun, or you can use it with the machine gun. We found it easier to do it with the machine gun. There's also the ability to do a combination of both of those, but you'll need to shoot it down. You can do it by yourself by triggering the checkpoint, then jumping out and switching into the machine gun. You can do it together, or you can just do it using the regular rocket launcher. As soon as you take it down and successfully save the cargo ship, the skull will spawn in one of 3 locations. It seems to be completely random every time. Location 1 I just showed you would be right next to the fence in between the 2 yellow barrels. I moved the barrels so they'll be in a slightly different location for you, but it should be sitting there right next to the barrels. The second possible location is on top of the garage where the Scorpion spawns. You'll jump up onto the garage into this area. You'll need to use a grenade to dislodge this yellow barrel, and underneath that barrel you should be able to find the skull. Now, I've done some editing magic, so I will have more than one skull on my map, but that's what that skull would look like. And then the third possible location is if you backtrack a little bit further. There's 2 little archways in the open area that we entered after crossing the bridge. The one that's farther from the Scorpion Bay is the one that's going to have the possible third location. I'm going to die, but it's basically going to be exactly where I die. Right there, behind these 2 little metal boxes, you can possibly find the third location.
I'm grounded.
Now, the next one is the Blind Skull on Mission 5, unconfirmed. You'll come to this section where you clear out a whole bunch of snipers, make your way up the hill, and a large gate will open. Once the gate opens, you'll want to jump up onto the ledge on the left-hand side, jump up on the box, and then use the box to gain extra height to jump up onto the pipes that are on top of the room. Follow the pipes into the kind of hallway. You'll find a small cave system, and you should be able to easily find the Blind Skull at the end of the cave. Now, next you can find Thunderstorm on Mission 6 Excavation. You'll notice that there's a timer that I've added at the top of the screen. It is important that you complete all the steps that I'm about to show you within 2 minutes. If you're doing this alone, you'll probably want to get on the Gun Goose, but because I'm doing it in co-op, I'm going to be using the Warthog. Basically, you're going to need to destroy 5 traffic cones within 2 minutes. If you don't do it within 2 minutes, the last one will unspawn and you'll be unable to actually destroy all 5 of them. What we're going to want to do is destroy all 5 traffic cones. So, we're doing it with a Warthog. I'm going to be stopping. My gunner's going to be shooting them. As you shoot them, you'll hear the Grunt birthday party sound, so that should be a good indicator as well for you guys. Now, again, you have to destroy all 5 of them in 2 minutes. I showed you the first one. The second one we're coming up on is to the right of the door that leads to the bridge. So if you're using the gun goose, you're going to have to just aim the gun goose. Make sure you're destroying the traffic cones as you're coming upon them. If you're doing this super fast, you should be able to do this within a minute and a half. Obviously, I recommend the easy difficulty. Now, I'm doing it a little bit slower to show you guys the locations as best as possible and kind of stalling a little bit to show you guys them. So we take about a minute and 45 seconds, but that's plenty of extra time with its own. The third one is on the bridge in the middle behind the car as you pass by. The fourth one is under the archway. You'll want to turn to the right hand side, then a little bit left around this truck, and you should notice a pylon on the corner of that little mining facility. And at the very top of the hill, if you follow the fence line on the left hand side, you'll notice that there's a downed ship. Near that downed ship, near the back corner, you should find your fifth pylon. If you took too long getting here, this pylon will not be here. Once you shoot this pylon, that is all 5 completed with under 2 minutes. Now all you have to do is basically complete the rest of the mission, get to the very end, and the skull will spawn at the very end before you escape. Now, you'll notice that I'm at the launching pad. We're at the very top of the tower. After taking the elevator, you'll notice this gigantic guardian. You'll probably get pushed back with its pulses as well. Eventually, though, once you're on kind of the midway part of this bridge, right here, I'm trying to show you guys, but I'm getting hit with the pulses. It's going to be right here in front of you. If you miss it and you go too far, the mission will end. If you take too long, you'll die, but it'll just restart the checkpoint. By the way, if you fail the cone part, restart the checkpoint. Mission 7, Reunion, Grunt Birthday Party. Very early on in the mission, you'll come to this section where you'll see a downed ship with a whole bunch of enemies near it. I'm going to take care of the enemies just so that you guys can see kind of where they are as a reference point. You'll come across them for sure. And to get this skull, you'll just want to kind of shoot past that ship and up on these little cliffs. You'll notice that there's a tunnelway kind of right behind this area. If you just go to the very end, you'll notice a singing grunt sitting on the edge of a cliff. All you want to do is interact with him. In my control scheme, it's going to be the B button, which is my melee button, I believe. And that's going to punt him. As soon as you punt him, he's going to go flying, and in a few seconds after that, the skull will spawn directly in his place. Now, the Fog Skull can also be found on Mission 7 near the end of the mission. Right in front of us is the end of the level. Do not go there just yet. Instead, drop down, go to the right-hand side, and follow up this little hill. At the top of the hill, there will be a small pad, and in the middle of this pad, there will be a skull. Skulls are very small in this game. I actually thought it was a grenade for a while, but if you pick it up, obviously you'll get the Fog Skull. Now we're on Mission 8, Swords of Sanghelios, and you can find the Mythic Skull. As you're kind of progressing through the level, you'll come to this section where you go through a narrow hallway with some cross beams that have fallen in the middle. Eventually you'll come out the other side and you'll see a whole bunch of like flying ships going about and a huge battle going off in the distance. There'll be some enemies to your right, and you'll see this cross beam right across the front doorway. We're going to have to use that to get up to that platform that I'm looking at right now. So what you'll want to do is just follow the jump sequence I do. You have to be very kind of, you have to get the right spots. You got to do the right things to make sure you're making the jumps and getting exactly where you need to go. Obviously, I'm failing brutally here as I said that. But you'll come up onto here. You'll come up onto this kind of ledge. And then the first step is to make sure you jump into the crack of the crossbeam. You'll need to do that in order to get enough height to be able to reach the top of the crossbeam using the little mid thing. You'll need to mantle again. Now we're going to make this huge jump from where I am all the way to that platform directly in front of me. You will need a running start. You'll need to sprint, jump, dash in the air, and then try to mantle onto the side of that platform. A little trick is as you're falling at the very end of your kind of dash, you can start zooming in and out, and you'll get a little bit of extra distance on your jumps. You'll need to mantle though. Keep that in mind. Mission 10, The catch skull is on enemy lines. As you're boarding the Kraken, leave your ship, go down into the Kraken, and find the Banshee Bays. There's 2 different Banshee Bays. It doesn't matter which one you find, as I will reference both in the video. Just make your way deeper down. About 4 stories in, you'll find 2 Banshees. Now, if you found the same Banshee Bay as me, there will be a green door to your right-hand side. What you want to do is get to the Banshee Bay that has the green door on the left side. So that's the other Banshee Bay. Now you'll notice that the green door is to my left from the Banshee spawn, and you'll just want to go up onto this platform inside this little crevice, and you'll find your skull here. Again, the Banshee's right there. If you're looking at them from behind and the green door is to your right, fly up here, find the catch skull. That one's pretty easy as long as you know exactly where you're looking. Mission 12, Cowbell Skull. During a good way into the mission, I would say most of the mission through, you'll end up in this large battle area after, and you'll see this kind of huge guardian in front of you. This is where the warden fight happens, and you'll basically, before the warden spawns hopefully, you'll want to go towards the guardian. At the very edge of the cliff, if you poke out, you should see this metal beam, and if you drop down very slowly and push back as you're falling, you'll land right where I landed. Turn around, and directly behind you, you'll find the Cowbell Skull. We're on mission 13, Genesis. The skull is tilt. You'll come across a light bridge. I think this is the first light bridge of the map. Don't quote me on it. You'll notice that there's a gigantic ring to my right-hand side. And we'll want to come up here. You'll see this plant next to this rock formation. You'll want to jump up here and keep mantling up to the very top of this rock. It might take a few crouch jumps. Crouch jumps tend to make you kind of hover a little bit extra. They get you a little bit of that extra height you might need. And at the very top of this rock structure, you should be able to find the tilt skull. We're going to do Famine. It's on the breaking. About halfway through the mission, you'll notice that the warden will spawn into this large circle, and then he'll just shoot right up and out. And instead of progressing through the level, make sure you quickly run kind of directly underneath where he spawned through this hallway. That really, there's nothing in this hallway other than the skull, and there's not a lot of reason for a lot of people to go here, which makes it a decent hiding spot, but it's one of the easier ones to find. Go ahead and pick it up. Now, the last one is on mission 15, Guardians. This is the tough luck one. If you've been following along, the achievement will unlock on this level. You'll come up to the kind of Delta Core and Epsilon Core, Gamma Core, all the energy cores, and you'll notice this gigantic pyramid structure with a giant blue ball on top of it. If you go towards it and then to the right, you'll notice that there's a downed pelican on the cliffside. What we're going to want to do is go to the left of the pelican while facing it. You can scale up the left-hand side as I'm doing here, or you can actually scale up the right-hand side, find the data pad, which is one of the collectibles, and then just jump over the rocks and over the pelican to the other side to pick up this skull. I'm showing you the kind of straightforward way. As soon as you make your way up the cliff, watch out, it's a little bit of a tricky jump at points. Just go ahead and pick it up. Thank you guys for watching. That's 40 gamer score, pretty easy achievement if you ask me, not too bad. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. It took a lot of work to get it out on launch day, but I think you guys would appreciate it. It would help me out if you dropped a like on the video, share the video with a friend. It would help me make videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.